Welcome. How you guys doing? My name is Wayne Spencer, and today I'm here to bring you guys information, just general information about starting out in videography, starting out in photography, starting out in all those type of aspects that you want. If you want a camera, DSLR camera, anything that you're looking for, as far as like Sony and the whole nine. Let's just talk about that because today we are going to present to you guys why I purchased this camera here, the ZV-E1. So it's all going to come together. It's all going to matriculate into one aspect and one understanding behind cameras. I do want to explain to you guys that I am not sponsored by Sony. I am not taking any money. I bought all this stuff with my own money. ZV-E1, A1 Mark II, 28 to 70. We have here the 70 to 200, the 85 millimeter, DJI, which is not Sony. Again, all with my own money and just the investments that I'm making within my life and my kids. First and foremost, let's just get into the origin of the story of why I have two cameras versus one, where I was told that having one camera is sufficient, is efficient enough. Even a vlog camera paired up with it is efficient enough. And I'm gonna tell you why it's not, and I'm gonna explain to you in just a moment. But today here, we're sporting the Osmo Pocket with this ZV-E1, and we're gonna showcase that as well. So if you are a creator and you're new to videography, new to photography, anything camera related, you're pretty much here in the right place. I want you guys to understand the steps that I've created for you guys to follow, just the in-depth understanding behind cameras and behind what to purchase and what not to purchase. There's things that are in this world that are pretty much unexplainable. Cameras being one of them, the whole aspect of it. And for new people, it's going to be a lot harder than you really expect. Now, the good thing about this is that this is a ZV-E1. Now, in comparison to the FX3, FX30, I did have the FX30, not the FX3. However, the FX30 is literally a mimic version of the FX3. Besides like the ISO, besides the sensor, those are the only two things that differentiate the two. This, however, is almost like the video camera that you needed for a compact solution that also offers you a full frame. Problem with the FX30 is that it was perfect to a certain degree. FX3 is also perfect to a certain degree. Now, when I say perfect to a certain degree, I do mean that they're not updated based on their AI, the menu screens, all that's packed into this little bad boy here. Now, the fan, the hardware is bar none better than any camera that I've ever used. And I'm talking about the FX30 and I'm talking about the FX3. Okay, I have a Sony A1 Mark II, and I still think that body of an FX3 is just completely bonkers. I think they nailed it with that one, but I think that's one of the reasons why people continue to stand by the FX3, and they don't say too many bad things about it. And I get that. I understand that 100%. But here's why I'm imploring you to buy yourself a ZV-E1. And again, this is not a sponsorship. The ZV-E1 has a compact body, it's very light. You're gonna know how important light cameras are when you have your own set of cameras. Like when you buy yourself a camera that is 10 times the weight, it's just ridiculous. And then when you add cages to it, right? Cages make it heavier, right? You wanna add a handle, you wanna add a cage, you wanna add a top handle. All these things can be added. Even the lenses, they all have a specific weight, ounces. Doesn't matter. Once you add that weight to it, even this sensor cap has weight to it. This is a metal sensor cap from Condor. And it's a pretty nice sensor cap and I like it, but it's just for aesthetics. It's for the visuals aspect. I do have another one here. The Sony cap is plastic, so if you want to put that back, you can use that and it'll be a lot lighter. So this video is for what? For those that want to get a grasp of understanding of purchasing cameras, understanding of photography cameras versus videography cameras. Troubleshooting is a thing in camera work no matter what. And when I say troubleshoot, I mean you're gonna have to menu spec it. If you want a beginner's guide, the best beginner's guide is to buy a camera, open it, and it just works. Well, look no further. That's one of the reasons why you're gonna wanna get a ZV-E1 versus any other camera that you can possibly think of. Right out of the box, there is an AI intelligence mode that can kind of teach you how to use a camera, especially a videography camera. I don't know any picture perfect camera out there, but the Sony ZV-E1, as far as out of the box, it gives you all the great colors, all the top of the line. When you pair it with a good lens, it's going to give you something really nice and really comfortable to use to start off with. You can start with a vlog, you can even start doing content, you can start shooting shots. Again, compared to this FX3, not compared to anything else, comparing to the FX3, there are the APS-C, the ZV-E10 Mark II. I wouldn't change to an APS-C if you've already gotten into a full frame. That's another experience that I would like to share with you guys, is that APS-C cameras are great. They're good for a purpose, for a specific audience. I would say more in a casual size. Again, you can comment down below if you have an APS-C camera and you do have professional work being done with that camera. But again, a lot of clienteles love seeing the big boys, the thickums, if you will. So from my experience, that's number 2, is that the difference between the intelligence behind the camera, it's made easier. And I've heard a lot of, I've heard one content creator, I forgot his name, I think it's Manny or something, like Manny Ortiz or something like that. Like, videography and photography is becoming boring. And he's like, he wished that it didn't have all the bells and whistles and push to start and just out of the box perfection, right? And I understand that, but for people like me and you, we want to get that quick access to start and not having to look up so many videos on how to set this up, how to set that up, how to do this, how to do that. Out of the box, ZV-E1, hands down, the best videography camera, I would say 100%, okay? So after doing multiple researches through the FX30 and FX3, I found it super hard. It took me about a week and a half to just figure out the camera and figure out the best settings and figure out S-Cinetone, figure out S-Log. And that was tough for me mentally because it didn't have the advanced AI that this has. This has advanced AI that even what's sported in the A1 Mark II, it's sported in the A9 Mark III and the A7 R5, I believe, or R4, one of those numbers. Yeah, Sony has a way of words with the names of the cameras. ZV-E1, what you're gonna get, what are the wow moments actually that you're gonna get? And one of the wow moments that I do notice that there is a 4K 120. FX3 has a 4K 120 as well. FX30 has a 4K 120 with a crazy crop, which is already a crop sensor from the APS-C side of things. So you're getting like ridiculous amount of crop on that, but it does sample down to from 6K sampling to a 4K. So if you can find a wide enough lens for the APS-C camera, you can make it still work for you. But again, equivalents of millimeters will just be like a 16 millimeter from APS-C would be a 24 millimeter in a full frame world, right? So you got to also factor in those. So you would have to get like a 10 millimeter to get a 16 or something like that from an APS-C standpoint. So that would work for you. Now, the thing with the FX30, let's just push aside the FX30 for now. Let's not talk about it. That is not in this aspect right now. We're talking about a full frame aspect of things. The reviews that I've seen, the new tech behind it, there is new camera system, it's an AI system. The dynamic stabilization, FX3 does not have dynamic stabilization, it has active stabilization. So they both have active stabilization, but this one has a dynamic, so it pushes it just further. They both crop in for the active and dynamic stabilization. This is a 10% crop for the 124K and no crop for the 4K 60. I do know that the FX3 does not crop as well for the 4K 60. However, the dynamic stabilization is big because now you're telling me that I don't have to spend that much more money. FX3 is $4,000 still, like $3,800, you know? You're not getting a lens with that. You're getting the top handle and everything. I get that, the XLR, but that should not be the make or break. I'm using a little mic here and I sound amazing, I think, personally. I've measured it out. It's connected to my DJI, so we're good there. Chances are that you're looking for a camera, you're watching a video like this, You're looking for what's the best camera that I can possibly get. And again, if you're gonna start taking pictures, this is totally not the camera for you. Do not buy this camera. Okay, this is a 12 megapixel camera, although it takes decent shots. It is nowhere compared to what the Sony A1 Mark II can do at the 50 megapixel and the 30 frames per second shooting. And this is one of the pictures I've taken. And this is not even color grading, not edited, nothing. It's just straight out of the camera after obviously setting up the ISO and setting up the white balance, setting up all those things that you have to set up while taking pictures. That is what you're gonna get right here. But again, this for video shooting, second camera, B camera, first camera even, if you don't have full setup and you wanna start getting into it, I would say if you wanna start getting into professional and vlog, all of it, this ticks so many boxes, it's ridiculous. I don't even have a list of how many boxes, and I'm not trying to fanboy ZV-E1, but I have a Sony A1 Mark II, and I think that's the best camera I've ever owned, and obviously it's one of the most expensive cameras out right now, if not the most expensive camera for full frame. For this to be my secondary camera, I find it to be hilarious that I can use this for video. Then there's moments that I'm like, with this talking head, I want to use this for video, and it's so good, especially with good lighting and not having to worry about the dark. This is my everything video. This I can do any and everything. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be shooting for long periods of time, so the reliability factor will still be there, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't have the experience yet with it, but I will be giving you guys a 4-month update, 6-month update, however have you. Whatever I feel like, when I feel like, yo, this needs an update. I need to show you guys why this is still such an awesome camera. But I do see the longevity in this camera. It feels like a vlog camera, and the fact that I know how much power that this puts out is ridiculous. And I'm not sitting here vouching for that. It's Sony ZV-E1. I'm not sitting here vouching for it. Please don't think that I am. If you have your niche, if you know your information, this is for those that don't understand the camera world yet. You get this, you will not be disappointed, because all it does is it gives me, a chance to start. You're gonna want to fit in the fit-in club. I think that the FX3 is literally a fit-in club. This has everything the FX3 has, aside from some of the hardware features that I already mentioned. And it does it better with the AI integrated inside of it, with the dynamic stabilizations integrated inside, the compactness, the pricing. This is just an all-around better camera, more bang for your buck. There we go. Get more bang for your buck. Get more bang for your buck, man. Sony, you have outdone yourself. For FX3 users, I know you guys are pissed. Because you paid a lot more money for something that you're going to get a lot less of, but then you did have it 3-4 years in advance. So I guess that's what, that's the trade-off here, right? That this is newer and you guys had it for a lot longer. So experience with it is a lot different when you compare that. So I'm glad this video is not for you. Newbies, holla at your boy. Remember to smash like and sub. Peace.